Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be talking about building intelligent chatbot and enhancing user experience with natural language processing. So let me introduce myself. I am Priyamvada. I have been working in GeekyAnts for past 3.5 years as a software engineer, and my main focus of area is artificial intelligence and machine learning. So let me introduce chatbots. In today's world, chatbots have become increasingly important in various industries, including e-commerce, customer support, healthcare, and many more. So before we dive into chatbots, let's understand some keywords like what is artificial intelligence, machine learning, natural language processing, and what are chatbots. So yeah, so artificial intelligence is a computer system that helps us do works that requires human intelligence, and machine learning is a subset of it. Machine learning helps us understand patterns based on algorithms. We can train a machine learning based on basically three types. So machine learning is of three types: supervised machine learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Supervised machine learning is a type of machine learning where we have the data with proper annotations and labels, which basically means we have a predefined outputs, what we want. Where unsupervised learning tries to find patterns in data set where we don't have an annotated data set and we don't know what the output will be. The machine learning tries to find patterns in the data set. And coming to natural language processing, it is also a part of machine learning where we use natural language to interact with the computer. We use various natural language processing techniques, which we will be discussing further. And one of the applications of natural language processing is chatbots. So, chatbots is a software program which helps us interact with the users, get user queries, understand the text, and provide contextually appropriate responses. Now, let's dive a bit into the evolution of chatbots. So, chatbots have come a long way since its starting in the 1960s. Eliza was the first chatbot that was developed, and that was developed to showcase a psychotherapist. It acted as a psychotherapist to give answers. But after 1960s, the evolution of chatbots have become increasingly fast. And in the 1990s, we can see that we got chatbots like Parry or Jabby Walker. These were quite popularized at that time. And coming to 2000s, we got chatbots like Alice and Smarted Child that was used in instant messaging all over the world. And with the evolution of voice assistants like Siri and uh, voice assistant, we have seen things like Siri and Amazon, Alexa, and Google assistants. These are some amazing examples of chatbots which use voice assistants as well, which we are witnessing right now. Now let's discuss the types of chatbots. So basically, chatbots are created by two types. One is rule-based chatbots, and the second is self-learning chatbots. Rule-based chatbots use a set of predefined rules, and they are quite restrictive when it comes to outcomes. So rule-based chatbots have quite a lot of limitations as well as advantages. When coming to advantages, it is simple, easy to implement, and if we have a straightforward task, then it will be quite useful. So, for example, here we can see if a user asks, "What are your store hours?" A rulebot chatbot can understand the context and give the examples that our store hours are Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. But the limitations comes when the queries are ambiguous. If a customer is having a query that does not have a clear meaning, it is a longer sentence, or it is not a predefined scenario, then the problem arises in rule-based chatbot. It is unable to understand the context, hence it will give a predefined answers, we are not sure about what you are saying, or whatever we have put the default answer. So this is quite rigid and constrained. So coming to the next one, self-learning chatbot. Self-learning chatbot uses machine learning and improves its performance over time. It learns patterns based on user interactions and inputs and increases its performance. It is able to adapt and generate responses based on the patterns in data. It is quite flexible. It is able to handle wider range of queries, and it can give more personalized answers. For example, here we can see if a user asks, I need help finding a restaurant in this area. The chatbot is replying, based on your preferences and past interactions, I recommend trying out this restaurant on this place. So it has gone through your past interactions. It knows what your preferences are, and based on that, it is giving answer. While rule-based chatbot is unable to do so. That's where machine learning comes, and its important and importance in natural language processing comes here. But self-learning chatbot also has some limitations. To create a self-learning chatbot, we need a substantial amount of initial training data. Once we have done training, it needs to be continuously updated to ensure that its performance is accurate and up to date, because new technologies keep coming day by day. And another huge problem is data privacy and security. So if a person is giving their all preferences and experience to the self-learning chatbot, a data leakage problem can come here. For this, the developers or whoever is creating the chatbot needs to ensure that proper security measures has been taken during creation of the chatbot, so that data privacy issue doesn't happen. So what is the role of natural language processing in chatbot? To do that, first let's understand what is natural language processing and what it does. So natural language processing, as we discussed, is a subfield of artificial intelligence. It focuses on the interaction between the computer and its user, a human, in human languages. So it plays a crucial role in building chatbot and understanding and interpreting data. It does so by various techniques like text processing, tokenization, part of speech tagging, name entity recognition, and sentiment analysis. So what does these terms mean? So coming to text processing means cleansing and formatting text data for analyzing. So whatever data we get, it is not always clean data. It has a lot of problems, like it may have multiple punctuation, unnecessary characters, or stop words, which we would not like to train our model on. So text processing helps in that step. Tokenization simply means that separating each words, breaking down text into its words, and facilitating further analysis to be done on those, depending on those words, so that the chatbot or the model can understand what's the meaning of each word. Part of speech tagging, Part of speech tagging means assigning grammatic tags like noun, adjectives, and verbs to those texts, so that we can understand the syntactic meaning of the sentences that the user is providing. Now comes name entity recognition. This has been very useful in today's world because it helps us identify and categorize name entities. For example, names, locations, organization. If you give a line to a chatbot saying that I would like to go this restaurant at this place, or something which includes location names, it will automatically recognize those texts, and it will be able to analyze data based on that. Natural language processing also includes sentiment analysis. It means the analyzing the sentiment or emotion of the text that have been provided. Like, is it a positive text, neutral, or negative text? A simple example would be if you say, I am feeling really sad today. So the chatbot can respond that I am sorry to hear that. It knows that it is a negative sentiment based on the sentiment analysis that has been done. So it is asking, is there anything specific you would like to talk about that I can assist with you? So sentiment analysis works in such ways. Now comes GPT-4 and OpenAI, the technology behind most advanced chatbots. Now, the introduction to transformer-based models like GPT has emerged as a backbone of chatbots and large language models. It has helped us create advanced chatbot technology. It is a state-of-art technology language model, and it has been created by OpenAI. The good thing is here is it uses unsupervised learning. It does not have an annotated created data set. It uses huge amount of books, articles, text, websites from the internet to train itself and find pattern in those data sets. The GPT-4 model is trained on vast amount of data set, and we do not need any human annotation, and we can host it privately also if we have data security issues and such. It utilizes a huge amount of transformer based model, which is a huge neural network that helps models understand patterns in the text. So here's an example that has been created by GPT-4. What are the best hiking trails in the area? The area offers stunning hiking trails such as forest parks. It is able to give answers. The main base of GPT-4 is it is able to predict the next word based on the text it has been trained on. So it basically works as a next word predictor, which is trained on huge data set and has learned the weights of each data set and is able to predict our answers. Industries leveraging the power of chatbot. So there are multiple industries that are using chatbots these days, and they have seen multiple growth in their marketing. For example, e-commerce websites now use chatbot for customer inferences. They can give recommendations based on the previous purchases that you have made. For example, if sometimes you buy on Amazon, that get say that the product you have buy, other customers have bought these products along with this, so they are also e-commerce comes. If you go and ask that I need a customer service, my product is not delivered yet. So in this way, e-commerce websites are using chatbots. Customer service is the prime example of chatbot because human resources are not so much available everywhere. So for automating tasks, even in the simple tasks, the customer service have been using chatbots. Healthcare is immensely using AI and especially chatbot for customer interaction. The patients can go and type their symptoms and problems, and the chatbots can recommend which kind of specialist the person has to go and contact. In human resources also, uh, the if person doesn't know what articles or what rules apply to them, they can go and ask human resources about their queries. We have actually experimented with human resources chatbot called uh, what human resources, I think. Yeah. So travel industries, there are multiple industries that has been continuously using chatbot, and chatbots uh, challenges and limitations of current AI. So here comes the problem that what's happening with chatbot. Context understanding. If a person is giving small sentences, then everyone is able to understand. Even rule-based can understand. Rule-based chatbots can understand to some limit that what the user is asking. But as long as the sentences get long, there is a problem of memory. The first word should be associated with the last word, and in that manner, the response should be created. But on rule-based or simple chatbots, that is not happening. For that, transformer-based large language models are trained. Still, there are some problems with context understanding. If there is ambiguity in the sentence writing, everyone is not perfect in writing sentences. They can write something which does not make much sense. Still, the AI has to understand what the person is trying to say, make sense out of it. Remove the bizarre or nonsensical responses from the text. And real-time learning should be there. If the chatbot is responding and talking with the user, then whatever the user is saying from last 3-4 lines also the problem they have, if it in sense of a customer service, the AI should understand what context the user is talking about, and there should be a long term memory. And the biggest problem is potential for misuse. As mentioned earlier, if you are giving your personal information, then there is a privacy and security issues, and your data can be misused in other ways. For that, proper measures has to be taken. Future direction and potentials. Research continuously happening in chatbot, and soon the chatbot is going to become so easy to understand that everyone can be able to use that in a very easier manner in every languages. There will not be much problems with that. Context understanding will be there, personalization will be there, and there are advances continuously made in AI because of the large language models. So impact on society and ethical consideration. Societal impacts on chatbot we have to consider, like job displacement and creation. As soon as the ChatGPT model launched, there was a lot of concern in internet that there might be loss of jobs because of that. Because for example, the software engineer job, coding jobs, ChatGPT is very nicely able to do code completion, code corrections, these kinds of things. So we have to consider the factor of job displacement. Ethical consideration are obviously data privacy and security. And transparency is the thing that if you are giving some information to chatbot, it should transparently inform you that you are talking to chatbot and these informations of yours are getting recorded and these are not. So this reduces the potential for misuse. If a person is aware that what information they are giving and what where the data is being used, then the potential for misuse decreases. So we have to consider these impacts as well. So in conclusion, chatbots have become a huge part of industries. Almost all industries are starting to use chatbots, and the evaluation of large language models are helping chatbots a lot. For example, right now there are multiple models that are available. Not only GPT, there are other models like Llama by Meta. We have Falcon models that is outperforming GPT by a lot. So chatbots will be evolving, and soon there will be a revolutionizing chatbots which will understand all the context, and the current problems will be reduced. Thank you.